Hello everyone, this is first video of a series of videos which are gonna focus more on drawing tasks of produce 2D drawing for building design project using CAD software. By this series, we will try to follow all 5 tasks as they are designed and draw floor plans, elevation, details, sections, wall sections, roof plans, ceiling plans, electrical plans, and finally site plan. We will have a chance to work in paper space at the end and present the drawings for print and plot. Before I start, let me tell all things that we are going to draw are gonna be real building. Then first, we must build it on drawing. Second, we must use proper graphic to define building elements and their definitions. Again, before I start first drawing, I would like to go through all setup steps which already has been defined for you, and I hope that you had a chance to follow the videos and you already modified your drawing sheets and AutoCAD software with this setup. First of all, page setup, which you could go through the page setup manager on paper space layout, and by right click on paper space layout you could access the page setup, and here you could modify your page setup. You could define as DWG to PDF.PC3. You could define A3 size. You could define plot area as a layout. You could define your scale 1 to 1, and you could define your plot style as abs.ctb. And finally, the drawing orientation is gonna be on a landscape. Second step would be your layer setups. According to page 5, you have a table of your layers that I hope you will put a little time to set up your layers. And within these layers, you can see that just your viewport layer is not printable. You should be able to define your level lines and your roof plan as a centered, and your fern dash as a dash for the line type. Then plot style is gonna be according to your color setup. We will define that. We will talk about that in a couple of minutes. Plotable or printable layers, just you have to put it off on viewport layer because we don't want to plot or viewport definitions in our paper space. Then again, I'm telling that layer setup are gonna be according to the table on page 5 of task 1 floor plan procedure document PDF, which you already have on a Moodle. And here you should define your layer names, colors, line type, and print style. And let me close this one. As I told before, Your line weight, which gonna define graphically the texture or definition of your design, is gonna be according to your layer color, and you have to adjust that line weights according to the colors which already described in page 6 of same documents. I mean task 1 floor plan procedure documents PDF, which you have it. And again, let me tell that defining abs.ctb as described in plot style uh, would be the last adjustment for your plotting. Next thing that I hope that you already adjusted is saving blocks in definitions, which you already told on that section. Then all blocks are available for you in your block library. That blocks are categorized in 4 divisions: wall sections, floor plans, elevations, annotations. For choosing blocks by using thumbnails, you can have some more definitions in a visual way to choose it. That was just a quick hint. The next thing, you should keep your tracking on by clicking on F11 and keeping your ortho on by clicking on F8. Don't forget to adjust your dimension style and text style as you are told till now. And the last spot would be getting back to paper space and adjusting your paper space in A3 area, adjusting your viewports on viewport layer, adjusting the, you could be able to adjust your, let me just make it possible, to your scale. And the last thing, inserting A3 title sheet from your title blocks in annotation part of your block library. Okay, by all these adjustments and modifications, your AutoCAD software is ready for drawing your first plan. From now, we are going to focus on task 1. The objective for task 1 is drawing the floor plan as you have it in PDF, but within that task and providing that floor plan in A3 size, you should practice on modifying layout 1 as A3 sheets. You should practice to insert title block. You should practice to scale viewport and create new viewports and layouts for our drawing. For this task, page layout and paper space has been recorded for you. You know how to develop a paper space layout, and A3 page setup has been defined for you a couple of times. Inserting A3 title block already provided to you in recordings, and introducing demonstrating grip editing and means of resizing and moving the viewports. We already told about the viewports in paper space and scale the floor plan viewport in 1 to 100. For this purpose, I'm going to draw a plan, and you will see all steps on the monitor with me. But that plan is not the plan that we expected from you. The plan that I'm going to draw is a double garage parking. It's a very simple rectangular building with the same structure. I mean timber framing with the brick veneer facade. And within this drawing, you will find commands that I will be using and the way that I will modify the commands, how I'm going to put dimensions and insert and write text here, inserting blocks, how to hatch the area, and finally how to define whole thing in paper space and make it ready for presentation. Finally, saving as a A3 PDF is the objective of the whole task one. The building which I'm going to design is a very simple rectangular building. I can start with drawing a line from anywhere. Drawing a line, let me keep it more. Okay. Drawing a line in 1 meter length by itself is not defining anything. Actually, in the best way, a single line can define a border line. But when you add the second line to this line, you will have a distance between these two lines. That distance in each scale can define one kind of material. In this case, our external wall is gonna be brick veneer. The width for the brick veneer is 110. Then if I try to specify offset distance, it's gonna be 110. Click enter, select object to offset. That's the object, and which side? This side. Now this couple of lines are defining a wall. I click escape, and then again by clicking enter, I get back to the comment. Next line, again, if I make it a 1 meter line, using line, choosing endpoint, coming to 1000 millimeter, it's going to be 1 meter. Okay. And here, if I offset again 110, and if I trim these couple of lines, again I use right click, and now I can see which lines is going to be trimmed. That's a corner. This corner of a building is a very start point for the building. if you start from the layout, after you calculate the setback, first line of the parking area and first corner on your boundary can define the first corner of your building. Then from here you can start to build your building on the model space. As I told you before, my building is, let me move it from that point on top of this reference point. I don't want negative definitions for the whole drawing. This building is about 6400 by 9400. In this case, as it's a rectangle, I can choose rectangle from draw panel under home tabs. And if I use rectangle, specify first corner, and for specifying second corner, I can use shift 2 will define, as you can see, @ sign. Now I can put definitions from first point, first corner, which is 9400 in x-axis, virgule, comma, and the second one would be 6400 in y-axis. If I try to, if I try to use zoom extend, now you can see the whole building is sitting here. I would like to erase these two objects. And if I want to offset these external walls, the distance is going to be again 110 millimeter to define external walls. My next definition for building this wall is going to be cavity area between brick veneer and my timber frame. That cavity area is going to have about 40 millimeter. Then if I use offset again, in this time I put 40 millimeter. I choose the subject and object and side of offset. Next material or next element is timber framing studs. Studs in this case has been designed with 90 millimeter. Again, if I offset the building, the whole exterior of cavity, and put 90 as a width of this new element, and which side. I press escape to leave it. Now you can see these four lines, these four rectangles are defining exterior walls for my double garage parking. My next walls are going to be internal walls to define the utility or a storeroom, workshop, my kitchen, and toilet area within this building. Okay, now for drawing internal walls, I have to explode these current rectangulars to, then I will be able to choose each one of these lines or define as exterior line of the current walls to define the interior space for that second wall. The second wall now for my first room is the toilet room. which the internal area is about 950. Then I should offset 950 millimeter this line. Next wall, I should offset that one 90 millimeter. Sorry, I should offset this time 90 millimeter and select the object. Next space is gonna be the kitchen, and the interior space is 200 for 2400 millimeter, 2 meter and 40 centimeter. And again, it's gonna be timber wall, 90 millimeter. That's the last part. The next definition is going to be in y-axis. I have to offset this line to define rooms. Then I can use offset. The first room, which is gonna define toilet and kitchen widths, is 1500 millimeter. Select object and here. Then again, by using O or clicking on the modify panel, choosing O, I should define this timber wall, which has a width of 90 millimeter again. Press escape. Again, I use offset. This time 2820 millimeter. Select the object. And then again, by pushing O, it's offset and 90 millimeter as width of interior wall. Here I have my interior walls. I should start to define walls, I mean entrance, and divide rooms. For this purpose, I can use trim, and by using pen and zoom, I use the whole area. By clicking, it's ready. Definitely I don't need this one. These lines between these rooms, this line is not here. The intersection of the walls, I don't need these walls in parking area again. Again, you can see it's very easy to try to try to trim any of these walls by this way. I just rolling this wheel on my mouse or scroll bar, and the last walls are this one, and this one. Just now, I should define openings on these walls to define the door area. The first door, I'm going to insert it in this area, and that door has about 900 100 millimeter opening. Then I offset this one, and in this case I should extend to this area and that subject. Then trim to trim that lines. Easy. By choosing from left side, you will choose the objects that you are covering, the whole of them. Then pressing erase. You can connect these two easy by connecting from endpoint to endpoint, or you could easily erase this line and then using chamfer, first line and second line. The other room is toilet. For the toilet also the opening is the same. Then you offset 900 and extend that line, extend that line, then trim, right click to select the objects to be trimmed. And now by erasing this one and this time by extending this line to each other. Let's see. Yep. Extend, select object, enter, select the other object to shift, click on it, and it's done now. Clicking escape and leaving that part. I already defined my utility and storeroom and toilet area. Next room is gonna be the kitchen. And here the opening for the kitchen door is the same 900. Again, I'm gonna offset. 900 is predefined here. Select the object, select the way, extend, select object, then select the object to be extended. Select the object, then select the object to be extended. Yep. And this line also. Now you can trim and hello. The last part is the opening to this area, which I should offset 1700 from this wall, then again offset, this time 1700 millimeter from that wall to define my first, and the opening for the door to my workshop is about 1800, and now I should extend it, clicking select object to be extended, these two objects, and then again by using trim, using the whole area, click select object to trim these two and these two. Again by zoom extend, you come to the whole area. I should define this double garage opening or entrance now. I should offset, but this time from my exterior wall, the offset area is 400 millimeter. Then next one is 2650. Then again, I use offset. Offset distance is 2650. Select the object offset and the side. And but by clicking enter, again, you have it as a repetitive command. This time the offset distance is 300. Select the object. And the last part is again 2650. Select object and finish it. Okay, on this stage, we are going to cut out the openings for the garage. You can get to the home ribbons, and from modify panel you can use trim again. Select objects or all. You can select all of them, and then by pressing enter, you will be able to trim objects that you want to erase. You can choose them one by one, or you can choose them with clicking from right end of them and getting to the last. And that's all for opening now. Again, getting back to zoom extent. On this stage, for the building which I'm drawing, I need to cut 4 more openings for the windows. For the utility room, the dimension for the window is 600 and it's about 900 from the external wall. Then let's again use offset and put 900 as offset distance, and then select object to offset and side to object to offset. By clicking or pressing enter, you are again at the same command. This time the distance is 600. Click and select object to offset and the side. By pressing escape and then choosing trim, choosing the whole area, pressing enter, select object to trim. Now I can easily make it possible. Pressing escape and getting off. My next opening is the opening to the workshop area. And for the workshop area, the window opening is about 1200 and it's about 2600 from each side. Then again, using offset. Offset area is 2600. Enter, select object to offset, and double click to get back to offset again. And this time it's 1200. Press escape to get off. Using trim again from the menu, using the whole area, pushing enter or right click. Now you can choose your item to trim one by one, or you could choose them from right to left. Next couple of windows. First window is about 600 width and it's just 350 millimeter far from my external wall. Then back to offset, 350, enter, pressing escape. Again, by clicking on enter or a space, you will get back to the same comment. And this time the width of the window is 600. Enter, select object to offset. My next window is about 640 far from this window. Then my next offset area distance is 640. This object is the same. And my last window has a width of 1200 also. Then pressing escape, pressing enter again, getting back to offset. And this time offset area is 1200. Pressing enter and the subject to that area, to that side. Now I should use trim. For the trim, if I click on the right side, then choose all elements, right click or enter, select objects to trim. When you move your cursor, your mouse toward the object, you can see which objects is gonna be trimmed or deleted. At the same time, again, I'm telling you that you can choose object one by one, or you can specify first corner and second corner from right hand. That will choose all of them. From left hand, that will choose just completed one, as you can see in this example. Okay, we are at the stage of finishing external wall. In this stage, there are a couple of adjustments that I should do it. First of all, I should make sure that my all walls are in the accurate and correct layer. Then in this case, I change it to wall 25 and again getting back to my brick veneer wall. You see, I can use my mouse cursor and choose just external walls. Again, I'm telling you, choosing from left to right will choose only objects that are 100% in your selection area. Then for external wall, we use wall 35. For the internal, we could also change that internal walls by choosing very simple internal area, and now using the timber items, but leave it for now. The other adjustment with the external walls I'm going to talk about is hatching. Your external walls as your construction elements are finished now. We should be able to define it graphically. We put the accurate distance and we put them in a accurate layer, then it's gonna be printed in accurate line weights. But for moving to hatch, let's just change the layer to hatch, and you can start hatching by pressing H, enter. Then you will see the hatch ribbon on top. The graphic for brick wall is ANSI 32, and the scale, let us start with 20. The current angle should be alright. Then you pick points. You pick the internal points of the wall, and you see the whole closed area is chosen. Next point, again, move to the next point, move to, for choosing, you must choose inside. And by clicking enter, here it is. Next step would be inserting windows and doors and roller doors. For this for this reason, we should go to insert block and more option, browse, and from your block library, you can go to floor plan, and as you can see, there are different kind of door which you should choose. Definitely the openings I mentioned was about 900. Then I'm going to use 820 opening doors. These doors will have about 40 millimeter on each side. Then that will cover the whole width would be about 900 millimeter. In here, as we mentioned about that, we are going to specify on a screen, and we are going to leave the scale and angle now as it is. Now I should be able to insert it somewhere. A very quick hint, you insert it anywhere, leave it okay. Now you have your block here. Now I need to move this block to the right spot with the right direction. The door is going to open inward toward the inside of the utility room, but it's going to open to right. Then on that case, I'm going to use mirror, select the object, and by clicking enter, I should draw the line. You see, I didn't fix my ortho. Then Control F8, I will have my ortho on, and then use the other part. Now, should I erase the source? No, as a predefined. Now I have it. By choosing the block, now I want to move it. Then I choose the move, gripping from one corner and bringing to the right spot. And then again, I should adjust this door for the toilet entry. In this case, I'm going to use the same door, and again with using mirror. No. And again doing the same. No. Now I have the door. I'm going to move it, find a grip point, the correct grip, bring it to the point. And I just can copy this door, select the object, click enter, and then a grip point, and again a new point. You see, I could adjust doors direct to the points by mirroring and make it possible to move it to the correct point. Instead of mirroring, you could use any other things. You could rotate them to come to the definite point or direction which you want. Let's erase these doors. I don't need them anymore. The next thing that I'm going to insert is going to be my windows. Then for the windows, I go back to my black library and choose the accurate windows if it's possible. For the windows, it's very common that you may be adjust them on the spot because of the design. I already inserted the rest of the windows and couple of objects like fridge, hand washing basin, and pan. I'm going to draw the roller garage door as I draw one of them here. For some objects, if you can't find the block to insert it, you should be able to draw the objects. In that case, we should know what we are going to draw. That's going to be a roller garage door. A roller garage door is coming is a roller which is coming off a box on top of the garage door with about 50 millimeter far from the internal wall, and it's coming just behind the wall, and it will be fixed with the 50 millimeter far from the internal wall. Then in this case, firstly I should draw lines from each corner of the wall to the other corner, and the reason is I'm going to define the lintel on top of the opening. These lintels are drawn in drawing layer, which is layer 1, but the line type is by layer, and I want to change it to dashed because we can't see them. Then I should draw the box for the roller door, and on that case I'm going to use rectangle and just start 50 millimeter far from that point. My other corner is going to be defined by the area of the roller door, and the area for the roller door is about a box with 350 millimeter in X by the width of the entrance, which is 2650. But in this case I have to put it in minus 2650 because I'm doing that from this first point. The last one, I should put a center line because the roller door is turning around the center bar, and for that center bar I'm going to draw the line from middle of this line. Then I should type MID, enter, and it will choose the middle of the line. to the, again, MID, enter, to the middle of this line. As it's a center bar, I will extend this one about 50 millimeter from each side. And again, let's get it with Control F8 straight, and again 15 millimeter from this side. But the only thing is the line graphic for the center bar is not correct. By double click on it, you can see the property of the line. I can change the line type to the center, but as you can see, this center is different from this one. Now I have to change the quality of this center, and then I choose it. I go to my properties and change the line type scale to maybe make it 2 and see if it's all right. It looks all right for now. Okay, by now I'm going to finish today's session. Within this session, we try to go through the basics, very basic things, to draw a very basic plan. I will upload the next video very soon to cover the if lines and dimension, putting extra dimension on top of that, and then printing from the paper space. But if we just get very quick to the paper space, sorry, you can see that as we defined our paper space before, everything is already there. That was my first video. Definitely I will redo this video very soon, but for now, for you to have some kind of example, you could see that mostly we just used a couple of commands and it was very easy to draw this plan up to now. Have a good day. Bye.